Tua $100 million is a lot of money. You could read that. Tua is a $100 million man. Tua 100 is better, though. And Tagovailoa knows it because there's few people that can chant like Cuba Gooding Jr. and have it make sense. Tua did that today, yelling, "Show me the money" at training camp after officially signing his 4-year, $212.4 million extension. The deal makes him the highest paid player in Dolphins history. Here he is with his head coach.
I've been told from several birdies that are, here in the facility, that are upstairs as well, that he went to bat for me. I won't go into details of things that I heard were said, but just know like he is what he says. He did what I was thinking he would do for me, and not just for me, but for any other player. So I'm very grateful for that.
Our objective was to continue growth and work together, and in that process, you get compensated. I'm happy, but I also expected it to get done, and now that it's done, it's about moving forward because it's maybe a handshake and a smile, but it's not a celebration. It's a cool point for the organization to move forward, but moving forward, we are.
Pretty cool because we didn't even know if he was going to continue to play football, a year or so ago. So look, Tua's average take-home per year is just over $53 million. That's the fourth highest among current quarterback contracts behind Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love. Not pictured on your screen, though, is Patrick Mahomes. He is 8th on this list at just over $46 million.
Camp, it was still a limited day of participation for Russell Wilson as he and Justin Fields continue their prep to be Pittsburgh's Week 1 starter. A calf issue still preventing Russ from going full speed during some individual drills, even though Sunday produced the most work he's put in since training camp opened.
Russ worked partially today and expect him to get going a little bit as we come off this off day.
Do you expect to be able to see Russ in some team periods next week?
That's what I said.
Coach, how much are you looking forward to putting on the pass next week?
Man, it's just a component of the process, man. I love every component of this process, though. I'm a football lover. I'm a team development lover. Training camp is Kennywood for me.
Mike Tomlin, always going to be Mike Tomlin. Now, here's the deal. Whoever lines up under center for the Steelers this season, they're going to need some protection. Last season, both Wilson and Fields ranked at the bottom of the league in sack rate. The biggest reason? They ranked last and second to last.
August 1st at 8 p.m. Zach, Bears finished at the bottom of the NFC North last season, 7-10 record. They now start the season hosting the Titans. Bears currently at -4.5 on the spread in that Week 1 matchup. But what Bears wager are you eyeing this season?
I'm going to go with rookie quarterback Caleb Williams to be the leading rookie passer at -130. I think it's hard to predict how this Bears team is going to do overall, Jordan. So many new players, and then obviously you have a rookie quarterback. But I do think that Williams can have statistical success over his counterparts in Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. Right off the bat, I think he has the better talent overall. Chicago emphasized getting him the proper players offensively. They have Keenan Allen. They have DJ Moore. Madunze, they just drafted talented backfield, and I think there's usually a window of coaches that will break in rookie quarterbacks, limit that playbook. We may see that with Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, but I don't think that's going to be the case with Caleb Williams, who has the arsenal of throws that he can make already. So as long as Williams stays healthy, I think he will end up being the passing yard leaders amongst the rookie quarterbacks at -130.
And I like that look from you, Zach, but I'm actually going to look to attack their team total. I'm going under 8.5 wins here. A great price point at plus $1.30. I think this Bears team is being significantly overvalued in the marketplace. I think they're a bit of a paper tiger, especially defensively. We don't know offensively what they're going to look like. Down the stretch last season, they played very well. They were playing well above expectations if you look at the talent on the defensive side of the football, in my opinion. I think they're going to have a lot of difficulty replicating the success they had down the stretch defensively. I just don't think they have a top 15 unit. Offensively, they went out and they added a lot of quality players at the skill position. Keenan Allen opposing DJ Moore. We know about that. Adding DeAndre Swift to the backfield and the #1 overall pick. Caleb Williams, but I have some serious question marks on the line of scrimmage on both sides, particularly this offensive line. I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain drives running the football. So I think this Bears team as a whole is going to struggle. I think there's tremendous value here in what is a very competitive NFC North as well. I love fading them under 9 wins, especially at plus money.
Switching gears to the Texans now, Alex. They won the AFC South last season, finishing at 10-7. Current odds to win the Super Bowl right now, plus 1,500. That's the 6th best odds. Where is your head at wager-wise for Houston this season?
Jordan, I am not seeing it with this Texans team. I think they are the biggest regression candidate in football. I absolutely love fading their win total or their team total under 9.5 wins for this Texans team, who snuck up on everybody last year. Their team win total was 5.5 going into the offseason last year. Jumping up to 9.5 is a massive jump in my opinion. Obviously, CJ Stroud had a phenomenal rookie year, but they played all their games in the afternoon. Now they have 5 primetime games. They have a much more difficult schedule. They have a big bullseye on their back as well. They lost numerous starters on the defensive side of the football where they overachieved, in my opinion. Their big move in the offseason was adding Stephon Diggs, where they already had a lot of talent and depth at the wide receiver position. I really don't see that move moving the needle for this team. I think they're a massive regression candidate. I think 10 wins is a huge ask for this team. I also think the division has improved significantly. I look at the Colts and the Jaguars as potential division winners here. I love fading the Texans, especially at plus money. I think 10 wins is a massive ask for this team.
I'm going to attack one of the receivers in Tank Dell and go over 825.5 receiving yards. Broke out last year as a 3rd-round rookie with 47 catches for 709 yards and 7 touchdowns. I think he was entering that next phase, that next level as a wide receiver right before he got hurt. His final 4 games, he had 5 touchdowns along with 369 yards. This is an offense that is not afraid to push the football vertically down the field for explosive plays with CJ Stroud at quarterback. I think that's only going to grow when you add pass catching type of running back in Joe Mixon, adding Stephon Diggs. And the chemistry with Stroud and Tank Dell, I would argue, is top 10 in the NFL amongst young quarterbacks and young wide receivers. I think there's plenty of footballs to go around between the new additions that they have. And with Tank Dell, I'll go over 825.5 receiving yards for Dell.
All right, lastly, guys, it is time to attack these future markets. No more time to waste. Zach, what should we get in on right now?
I'm very high on going against the LA Rams for this upcoming season, Jordan, under 8.5 wins, plus 118. I think there's always a little bit of bias attached to a team that won the Super Bowl recently. The Rams did a few years ago, and then showed signs last year as the Rams did as well. But we know on the defensive side of the football, they're going to take a big hit losing Aaron Donald. They're a team that has struggled out the gate the past 2 seasons, where they've started 3-6 each of the past 2 years, and the schedule is not their friend to open the year. 2 road games to start the season against Detroit and Arizona, home game against the 49ers, then play Chicago and the Packers. So I think they're going to have a slow start for a 3rd straight year. I'd be surprised if they don't have 3 losses there. And then their division overall, we know is going to be very tough with the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, and an improved Arizona Cardinals team. I'll go under 8.5 wins for the Rams.
I like that look, Zach, but you know I had to attack a season-long player prop. I'm going to go under 875.5 receiving yards for Calvin Ridley. I think this number is way too high for Calvin Ridley, who just signed a big deal to join the Tennessee Titans. I would argue that this is a significant downgrade in comparison to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's also a brand new offense that he's going to have to learn as well. Last season, he appeared in all 17 games, went for 1,016 yards, had 136 targets. I think he's going to have a hard time replicating those targets, and particularly the quality of targets as well on Tennessee. He already has DeAndre Hopkins. They have 2 running backs in Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, who can catch passes, and as Okonkwo, they have a pass-catching tight end as well. And I just don't know how much Will Levis is going to be able to throw the football and how effective he's going to be. Also, Calvin Ridley at this point in his career is being primarily used on the boundary, on the perimeter. He's not really utilized in the slot or over the middle of the field. So it's very difficult to connect on those targets because they're deep down the field on the sideline. That is the most difficult area to attack for a quarterback. And I just don't think Will Levis at this point in his young career is a top 20 quarterback. And I just don't know how much this Tennessee offense is going to throw the football in competitive game environments. So 875 yards, everything would have to go right, in my opinion, for Ridley to eclipse this, and he'd have to likely appear in all 17 games as well. I think he's an excellent fade candidate under 875.5 receiving.